Instagram. Hey, good morning. I'm Crystal Lynn Bell, and I'm normally live on YouTube and Instagram at the same time. I like to double fist my technology, um, but I can't get Instagram to give me a live option this morning, so apparently that's not supposed to happen. So there you go. I'm just here on YouTube. So good morning. It's Jailbreak Your Heart and Howl at the Moon. And this is my program for helping you break free from the prison of unworthiness. So today, I am going to talk about the 12 jailers of unworthiness. Now, we've just had a new moon, and if you've not watched my new moon video that I made yesterday, please go watch it. I talked about it a lot. The sun in Aries, the new moon in Aries. I went into great detail. I explained the heck out of everything over there. And so I'm not going to explain the heck out of it again over here today. So please watch that because it's important. Even though the new moon was yesterday, the energy of the new moon is going to carry through for several days. So between now and the end of this week, you can certainly use the new moon ritual. Also, if you've not done this yet, I want to encourage you to download my free my new moon ritual and the Sun in Aries report. They are awesome. The ritual is outstanding, if I must say so myself. It is a good ritual though. But I want to give you the link just in case you want to download that right now. I'm offering those for free. Let's see, copy, and then let me just pop that here in the comments section. Please go and download that report. You'll enjoy it. So here's what we do with Jailbreak Your Heart and Howl at the Moon. Okay, I know a lot of people want a quick fix for their healing, for their problems, but as you've probably learned by now, it ain't coming all that quickly. Although maybe you've not. I've had so many people who have said to me, yeah, I want enlightenment like tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, that would require a near-death experience. I will not take you through that. That's between you and God. Go out, get your near-death experience, and get your instant enlightenment, okay? The way I do it is a much more humane way because I take it slowly. Now, 1 year is what we take it 1 year at a time. We take 1 month and we explore one issue over that entire month. And you're thinking 1 issue a month, I could handle 12 issues in a month. And I'm like, no, you couldn't. No, you couldn't, because you could think about many different issues over the course of a month, but to actually have a change in your consciousness, which is what is required in order to have enlightenment, to really find true inner peace, to access your wisdom, to be a badass butterfly, you need a shift in your entire way of being. And even that won't come in a month. But my way of working through these issues is so powerful and so deep and so cool that you will enjoy this month and you're going to come out stronger. Now, first of all, my program is called Jailbreak Your Heart and Howl at the Moon. It is a coaching program. So I offer weekly coaching in this program, and we do it in a group atmosphere because group coaching for spiritual stuff is awesome. You learn from other people. The people who are in the group are all mirroring one another. So there's a great sense of sisterhood that forms. Sisterhood, brotherhood, sisterhood. Girl, you know. So the group coaching is going to help you feel like you're really supported. It's going to let you bring your issues to the table. You're going to be able to talk it out with someone who understands what you're going through and who knows how to help you deal with what you're going through on a deep level. That's my job as your badass butterfly coach. I'm a deep thinking person. I don't stay on the surface of anything. So when we're looking at your healing issues, my solution is not to think positively. My solution is not to just like, oh, think positively. Yeah, recite some affirmations, um, blah, 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 whatever, like these kind of people who are kind of superficial do. Like, sit down with some stones and like that's all you have to do. No, my work is about getting to the core of what your problem is and doing whatever you need to do to deal with the actual core issue. So these weekly live streams that I do every Wednesday at 8:00 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, these are an opportunity for me to talk to you in general about what's going on with our particular issue that we're confronting every single month. So as I said, we stay on one issue for the month. Now, what issue are we going to work with? Well, there are 12 major issues that I have channeled through my spirit guides, and these are the 12 that we are going to work with. Now, my spirit guides are tuned to help people like me. How do you know if you are like me? Well, when I speak, you will know, because what I say will have a ring of truth for you. It will feel like, yes, that makes sense what she's saying. That's all you need to know. You can look at my bio, you can look at my programs, you can look at what I've written. That will tell you also, right? You can go to my website, badassbutterfly.com. You can see you can learn a lot about me on my website. You can learn a lot about my philosophy on my blog, right? All that is available at badassbutterfly.com. Now, you can also come and go as you please. You sit down with this live stream, you like it, great. If it really resonates with you, then you want to talk to me about entering into my program. And if you want to do that, you would need to set up a discovery session where you and I talk, and I tell you in detail about the program, and you tell me in detail about what it is you want to transform. And then I'll let you know, like, yeah, this program can do this for you, but it can't do that. Then you'll have to think about that and see if it works for you, right? Logical stuff. If it sounds so, we want to start with your intuition. If what I'm talking about sounds like it has a ring of truth for you, then this is something that you want to go toward, okay? So these 12 jailers are based on astrology, okay? I call these jailers, by the way. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place a little bit today, but it's because I'm excited. So let me step back. I view us as being in a prison of unworthiness. Our heart, which is our badass butterfly energy, our power, our creativity, our heart is, the nature of our heart is really powerful, open, strong, creative, connected to source energy, beautiful, right? All the resources it needs, everything is here. The thing that blocks us is our mind, right? So our mind keeps our heart in a prison of unworthiness. The prison of unworthiness is based on limiting beliefs. So we believe negatively. We believe that we're somehow limited. Negative thinking. So we think negative thoughts, like we don't trust ourselves. We think we're not good enough. We think we're not smart enough, blah, 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 all these things. We have negative emotions. We have a feeling of fearfulness, a feeling of doubt, a feeling of I can't do this, or I'm too small, or I'm sad, I'm depressed, I can't get out of this feeling, I'm stuck, I feel paralyzed. All these are negative feelings that also add to the prison. And then, of course, with negative beliefs, limiting beliefs, negative thoughts, and these stuck, dark, disempowered emotions, how can you make a good decision when you've got those three things that are working against you? You cannot. So the last kind of wall of the prison are the impoverished decisions that we make based on this kind of prison of unworthiness. So in my theory, there's the prison of unworthiness. There are the four walls, which are the limiting beliefs, negative thinking, blah, blah, blah. And then there are 12 jailers that are keeping us in this prison. Now, these 12 jailers, I'll tell you what they are. Okay, I'm going to just recap for you very quickly what they are. And I like to look at my list because there are 12 of them. And it's hard for me to keep 12 things in my mind at one time. Fear, impotency, limitation, ego, blame, criticism, inner criticism, inadequacy, powerlessness, irresponsibility, illegitimacy, shame, and unforgivingness, being unwilling to forgive, okay? These things all keep us in a prison of unworthiness. Now, where did those 12 jailers come from? Well, there are 12 signs of the zodiac. There are 12 months in a year. There are 12 jailers. Each jailer comes as a shadow of each of the zodiac signs. So in addition to being a spiritual life coach, I am an astrologer. And for me, astrology is really important. So what I've done is I've tuned into each zodiac sign and I've basically asked it, I'm like, what's the shadow that people need to be working on for you in order to receive the best benefit each month, and in order to heal themselves deep inside? What is the jailer that we must confront? Or what is the shadow or the negative thing that we must confront? So each astrology sign, each zodiac sign has tuned in. When I tuned in through meditation and connection, the way I normally do, they told me what their thing was. So Aries told me that it's jailer. The shadow for Aries is fear. Taurus told me that its shadow is impotency. Gemini told me its shadow is limitation. So going on and on and on. So what we do each month is we take one of those jailers. While the sun and the moon, the new moon, are in Aries, we work with the Aries shadow. The Aries shadow is fear. That's where we are right now. So that's where we're going to start. When the sun moves to Taurus next month on April 19th, then we're going to work with the shadow of Taurus, which is impotency. Okay. And of course, I will explain what those all are when the time comes. So for today, we're going to start off and we're going to talk a little bit about the jailer fear. Now, actually, we're not going to go too much into it today, just because I want to see if there's anyone who wants a reading while we are on the group. Let's see. I see Love Her Productions is here. Hey, cutie. Finally able to catch a live stream again. Yay, I'm so glad. Quarantine. Yay, it's bringing us all back together again. Great. So if you want a reading, please type in whatever your reading will be, okay? Let's see. All right. Now, so yesterday, I talked in the live stream, or I made a video about the sign of Aries and what it represents. And I'm going to talk about the sign of Aries right now. The sign of Aries is about being in your physical body and being in your own personal authority fearlessly. This is the nature of Aries. It's about understanding your true authority and having a zero tolerance policy for anything that contradicts your authority. It's a very powerful sign. Now, the thing that stops us from living this way is fear. Fear is the enemy to authority. So what we want to do is explore how that fear contradicts personal authority. If we think about the Emperor in tarot, if you know anything about tarot cards, if you know anything about tarot cards, you'll know the Emperor card. And the Emperor represents a man who sits in the highest authority, and he feels that everything comes from him and everything serves him. Now, what I want you to do is to pause a moment and feel what that feels like to you. How does it make you feel when I say there's a man sitting in full authority, everything comes from him, and everything serves him? The first thing I feel inside is fear. I feel fear about someone else, the thought of someone else having that authority. I feel fear about judgment that might come from that man. Like, if that guy was sitting there, how would he judge me? I feel fear about how he would judge me. I feel fear about how I would serve him. I feel fear about what he'd ask me to do. I feel fear about what's required of me toward him. This is important because that inner authority is inside of us, and the fear that I'm projecting onto this card or onto this idea of the Emperor, it does not change just because I've put him inside me. Just because I've put him inside me and said, oh, well, I'm that Emperor, well, I feel good. That's not how it works. On a conscious level, with your ego, you might think that. But on a subconscious level, you will have some issues to that authority. So what I want to ask you to do right now is to take pen and paper, or you can do this in your mind, but I think you should do it on pen and paper. And I want you to write down all those fears you have toward this guy who's the authority. Don't put him inside yourself, oh, I'm the authority, because that's going to obscure things and it's going to confuse you. First, see him out there. Write down everything that bothers you about him or about this relationship. Everything serves him and everything comes from him. So what I'm saying is, I've come from him, which makes me his child in a way, and everything serves him, so I serve him. I'm his child and I serve him. That's how it is when you're an emperor. If you are the emperor, there's no one who has authority over you. No one is above you. No one's needs get placed before yours. That's the nature of the emperor. So, boom, quintessential authority, the center of the universe. Now, all these things that you have issues with, right? For me, it came up as fear. So I'm going to talk in terms of fear. Why do I have fear of the emperor? Why do I fear that he's going to judge me? I don't know how I'm going to serve him. Why do I fear that? Because I have a dynamic inside me that believes that his authority overrules my authority. And of course, I know I just said that those are the rules. I just said that those are the rules. However, whether or not I believe that and can believe that is a reflection of the truth that's inside me. And I know me, and I'm not afraid of who I am. I know that that is a real fear. The issue of him having authority diminishes my authority. This is a problem. This is my own personal problem. You have to discover what your personal problem is, okay? That's why I'm a coach. You can come to me and I can help you discover your problem. That's why I'm doing this program. If you're on this live call and you have a question about this, please type it into the chat so that we can address this. So your job is to take those fears, to take whatever it is that separates you, that makes you afraid or disconnected from this emperor, unable to somehow be able to serve this emperor and to accept you're coming from this emperor. Whatever it is that disconnects you from that, write it down, and then you need to look at it. Because the way you relate to that emperor is the way that you relate to your own authority. You are simply projecting your own issues out onto the emperor, which is why we do it this way. This is why we use this. This is why I've created the system to go like this. This is why I use tarot, but don't worry about that. But we need to be able to project it out onto something so that we can see how our inner world is acting. So your unconscious and subconscious mind are ruling you more than you know. So it's very, very, very difficult to access your subconscious mind. It's very difficult, virtually impossible to like access your unconscious mind in a conscious way, right? So what we have to do is create situations where we can backdoor, so we can backdoor our subconscious mind. So I say the emperor, he has these things, it triggers your subconscious and unconscious processes to start to blossom so that you can start to see some things about yourself. Okay, so we have the emperor, so we have our issues with the emperor. So now what I'm saying is those issues that you have with this emperor are your issues that you have with yourself. This is the reason that you are in a prison of unworthiness right now based on the first house, based on the first jailer, which is fear and Aries. And this is what we're going to be working on until April 19th. Okay? Okay, that's all I have to say for right now. Love her productions. Okay, me. Let me get my question together. Okay, she's gonna, so I definitely about how to overcome what it is. Okay, to use oracle cards also, what is the difference between oracle, tarot, and which one do you recommend and which one? Okay, and which one do you want to recommend? Okay, good questions, very good questions. All right, so Let me finish this up, and then I'm going to come back to your questions, your reading around the fear that you said, and your questions about tarot. So with this emperor, we have the feelings that you're projecting out toward him. You have the feelings that are coming back that you know are yours. So now you are now positioned to, you are now positioned to actually look at yourself and to understand what your issues are that you need to work on this month. For me, the issue is about being judged. It's about, let's see, so there's the emperor. I feel diminished in the face of his authority. I actually have the capacity, I have the capability to believe that his authority would be more powerful than mine. I believe that he would be more powerful than me. These are all problems because he's not, right? This is not really the way God works. We are all equal in God. It is the divine that is in us. That is the great equalizer. So basically what I'm sharing with you is my degree, to what degree I am disconnected from my own divinity. I'm disconnected from source by the things that I'm telling you about this emperor having authority, and being the master of authority is kind of like what I'm saying, and me, my authority being diminished, small. Okay. All right. Boom. That's it. That's all I have to say about this for right now. No, that's not true, because I need to tell you what to do with your list, right? You now have your list. You now know the things that you need to work on. The first thing that I would do is to look at this list of things. You know, this is where I feel disconnected from authority. Yes, this is very important. This is where I feel disconnected from my inner authority, from my power. Okay, so what I want you to do is to, number one, the first thing you have to do is to validate your own fear, okay? So you have to go through and look at your life and see where you have seen this fear in action. Write it all out, okay? Now, for example, for me, I know that I am intimidated by people who are doing the things that I desire to do. I don't feel jealousy, but what I feel is it's not quite inspiration. Like, I feel like I desire to do that. Oh, it might be jealousy. That might be what jealousy is. Hold on a second. Now, let me sit with this for 1 second. There are a bunch of really great spiritual life coaches out there. And even though I don't feel jealous of them, like I don't want them to not have it, but what I feel, here's what I feel. I look at them and I think, damn, that's really good. And then I think, oh, when am I going to get there? You know, oh, that's really good. I'm not doing that. Oh, when am I going to get there? It's not jealousy, right? That's not jealousy. That is more like, I have a feeling that I will get there. As a matter of fact, I know that I will get there. I don't feel doubtful about my ability to get there, but I do feel doubtful about my ability to get there, not based on my capability, but about my own issues, my personal issues with following through. I have a tendency to start projects and then to drop projects. So this is a fear that's deep within me. It's old. It's been the story of this lifetime and previous lifetimes. So this is a really big deal. Yes. So my issue with the emperor's authority is that I don't know how to take care of my own authority. I fear authority because I can't take care of my own authority. That's why we do this exercise, because that is a really big, important thing to understand. If you have something that's holding you back, you have to understand the root of what's holding you back, and you have to understand how to shift it, how to transform it. And you cannot start by going out and trying to do things in the physical world. Like, I can't just go and just start trying to be a great spiritual life coach. What do I have to do? I have to cultivate my reliability. I have to cultivate my commitment. I have to cultivate my attention to detail. I have to cultivate, doing things. If you're in my Jailbreak Your Heart program, you know that is a huge program, and it is detailed. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in it, right? And you'll also know that I'm really resistant to taking on too much, right? And the reason I do that is because I know from my past that I have taken on too much and then collapsed under the pressure. So what I've done, I've taken it, made it my thing to like be more smart about what I can do. So I think more about what I say I'm going to do, and I don't commit to quite as much, right? So all of this is to say that this is the process for making a transformation in your being. You have to start with what your core issues are, and then you have to understand them at a deep level. You have to see where they are in your life. You can't deny, you don't go around denying what your issues are. And then you have to work to transform yourself. And that's what we'll be going more into over the next 3 or 4 weeks as we're working with Aries and fear. Okay, so that's our first exercise for today done. I'm going to check in, I'm going to see who's online, and then we're going to get into these readings. And I've got some good feedback coming from Love Her Productions. Okay, so we got the reading stuff. She says, I totally know what you mean. Mine is a mix of jealousy and feeling like, why can't they do this? And I can't seem to get it together for me, right? Like, why is it that they can do this, but I can't do this? Yes. Not like I don't want them to have it. They inspire me. Exactly. Yes. I start and stop too. It's a huge thing for me to figure out and overcome. I'm learning not to take on too much, but then I feel guilty about not taking on too much, right? Have to work on that part. Totally get that. I totally get that. Yes. So this is going to be the first reading that I do for you, Love Her Productions. Okay. The first reading is going to be about what you just said. That thing of feeling guilty and taking on too much, feeling guilty. Because you're trying to not take on too much, but then you feel guilty about it, right? So let me just pull a card on that and see what comes up. 9 of Wands. So the message I'm getting from this card is very much about you being someone who has battled a lot. And what happens is you're kind of like still in fight or flight mode. So the message for you, Love Her Productions, is to do some things to take the pressure off the boiler, too much pressure in the pressure cooker. You need to let off some steam so that you can let down your defenses a little bit. And then what that's going to do is help you not be so attached to making things happen. You're too attached to making things happen because I think you felt in the past, or you've witnessed in the past or experienced where things have gone wrong because somehow you dropped the ball, right? I hope that makes sense. Okay. Give me some feedback to tell me if that makes sense. And Day is here saying, I'm currently in limbo. I feel the same way. Excellent, Day. Thanks for joining us. So this is kind of a big issue for a lot of us. There's just so much. We see so much. We're inspired to be so big. And we are also taught that in order for us to get big, we have to do things, you know? And it's all that doing which becomes difficult because we find ourselves, instead of doing one thing and then getting that down pat, we do 10 things and we spread our energy over 10 different pieces, and becomes very difficult to actually cultivate depth within those pieces. So we are constantly juggling, instead of just juggling 3 balls, we're juggling 10 balls, and it's and it's like you can't really like even get into a real rhythm with 10 balls in the air. Okay, so we want to make sure that so the problem is that also when you've been juggling 10 balls, there's the stress that's built up, and you don't really have the time to stop and release the stress of carrying those balls. Because what Spirit kind of wants us to do is be like, yeah, you got 10 balls. Put them down. Okay, pick up 1 ball. Okay, play with that 1 ball. Okay, put that down. Pick up another ball. Okay, play with that ball. Okay, yeah, but these other 8 balls, I got to go do something with those other 8 balls. Okay, but put that 1 ball down. Now, let's put a schedule to these other 8 balls, or to all these 10 balls. Okay, let's go over here, work on this ball a little bit, do some work over there. Then we're going to come back. Okay, now we're going to play with this ball. Okay, well, these 2 balls are connected. We're going to play with those 2 balls. Okay, logically, I know that that's easier said than done. However, if we will call upon our spirit guides to help us, we'll actually find that there is a lot of help out there for us. And we'll find that there is things are not as bad as we think. Okay, it's just that the 10 balls stresses us out. This is the problem. The 10 balls stresses us out. And then it doesn't let us think. And then we're in fight or flight, you know, like this pattern is stuck, and we're like this, and we're like trying to juggle 10 balls, and we're compromised because we don't have our full capacity. So this is why we have to take a break. All right, Love Her Productions. Does that make sense? I feel I get that card a lot. Does that mean something specific? The 9 of Wands means just what I said. You're defensive because you're always on the lookout for what's going to happen wrong next. You have a belief that what can go wrong will go wrong, and you are living your life based on what can go wrong will go wrong. And you're always on the lookout for it. Something's going to go wrong. I'm going to find it before it finds me. That's exactly what the 9 of Wands is about. It's about having gone through so much trouble, so much strife, and finding yourself really stuck, you know, like stuck in this holding pattern of fear. That's the issue. All right. Can't do 10 balls. That's been like survival mode. Oh my God, everything is so on point today. I need today's live as a daily recording to listen as a reminder. Day says, I agree. I'm living based on fear. Woo. Okay, good. Right. I'm glad everything's resonating with you. Now, Day, if you want me to do a reading for you, please type in your question. I'm going to go back, Christy, Love Her Productions, and I'm going to find that first question you had. Oh, okay, so you had a couple questions about tarot. Okay, so first was the question about fear. A reading about how to overcome what I'd like, but I don't know how to make it a specific question. Okay. So here's what I want you to think. I want you to consider. I'm going to give you a question about fear. I'm going to ask a question about fear for you. But understand, know that in the Jailbreak Your Heart program, what we do is we work on one thing for the whole month, right? So the thing for you to look at is that the thing we want to work on this month is having authority. We want inner authority. The thing you need to understand is that fear blocks you from your inner authority. So you need to discover how fear is blocking you from your inner authority. How fear is blocking you from your own inner authority. That emperor is you. You are the center. Everything in this world comes from you, and everything in this world serves you. That's the truth. That's the nature of being a human being. We're all individual suns, solar plexus. We are the center, and everything spreads out around us. This is not about being egocentric. It's really about just understanding the nature of the human experience. Okay? That's the message I have for you, Love Her Productions. Let me see what's down here. Okay. 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 Got it. All right. Very good. All right. Then we'll talk about this more. By the way, it occurred to me today that on these live streams, I can invite everyone who's in the Jailbreak Your Heart program to actually join me in the live streams through Zoom. I'm live streaming through Zoom right now, so you all can actually, if you don't mind sharing, in the live stream, sharing your image and sharing your story and your voice, you can actually join me live and we can actually do a little mini coaching midweek session right here on the live stream, and then instead of typing, we can actually be talking. Boom, love technology. All right. Okay, so cool. So I'll write that up and put it out there for everyone for next week. Okay. All right. All right. And Day says, I feel like I'm on autopilot. Wants to know how to dissolve the ego. All right, Day. I'm sorry. I hate to say, I hate to use the same thing for one person for another person, but I think it's the same thing. Autopilot usually comes when like the rest of you is shut down, right? That's what we're basically saying, that a part of you has shut down, and so now you're just on autopilot. There's no real input from you, okay? Now, the thing that comes up for me, this is in my mind, is this card called the Four of Cups. And it's about kind of living in a moment where your life feels stagnant. Things aren't moving forward, and you don't really have the energy to muster to make things move forward, right? It's a stagnant place. And so you go into autopilot just so stuff can get done. There's not a lot of creative input. There's not a lot of, like, you don't feel unified with life, and like you're active, responsible, creating in life. That's what I think I'm saying. Okay. So Day, there are a few things. First of all, the thing that I just told Love Her Productions is um, you're accustomed to things going wrong. It's like this feeling of kind of been beat down. You've been beat down. You've gone through a lot of struggles. Things have not turned out the way you want them to have turned out. And so it's kind of like you've just gotten your ass kicked by the universe, and it's gone on. I feel the thing that I'm getting from you, Day, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like things have, like, it's been almost a state. It's not that you've just come out of one particular hard time. It's kind of like life has been kind of hard and draining your energy. That's the feeling I'm getting. The energy has been drained, and so it's almost like adrenal fatigue, right? You just can't muster. I want to tell you the same thing that I told Love Her Productions, which is you need to do some things to get out of fight or flight. That is why your system is still stuck in the trauma that you experienced. You never quite broke free of that trauma, and so it's been building, tearing down your energy ever since. So instead of you kind of really overcoming whatever trauma it was that was the trigger of this, you basically coped with the trauma. And we normally cope with trauma by stuffing it down just enough so that we can get by, right? Survival mode, autopilot, fight or flight. It's all kind of in that same vein of, I'm just trying to hold it together. I'm stuffing down what I feel, right? Okay. So I feel like I need a response to that from Tarot. So I'm going to see what Tarot says to you about this. I kind of like elaborated on your question, and let's see what Tarot says. Tarot says, go back to childhood, Six of Cups. And two things. There's an early childhood trauma that will help you relate to this, like will help you correct this. If you can get to that old childhood trauma, then you can make the correction and move forward. When you work with that early childhood trauma, you're going to restore the innocence that you need in order to have the thing that you desire. That's one thing. The other thing I need to tell you is that you have a vision of something that you want for yourself, that you want to create. And I think that you're feeling too beat down to really go for the thing that you desire. The message I'm also getting from this card is that you need to understand that the thing you desire is still there, even though you may not feel like you know how to get to it or that you can get to it. Whatever it is, it's still there for you, and it's waiting. It's waiting for you to arrive. All you have to do is clear the old energy, recharge your batteries, and then go toward the thing. That's your reading, Day. All right, so Day says, yes. Okay, it's true. Excellent. Very good. All right, so I feel like that's probably enough for today. And I want to thank you all for joining in the program. Thanks for watching and listening. Thanks for sharing yourself as well. I want to, let's see, if you've enjoyed the program, I want you to like it, please. Give it a couple of thumbs up. I appreciate you all really sharing your feedback. This is really helpful. In the meantime, I want to go and in the Jailbreak Your Heart program, I'm going to write up this exercise that we did here today, Love Her Productions, okay? I'm going to write this up and pop that in there, and we're going to follow this further. Because you asked about tarot. Tarot cards are different than oracle cards. Tarot is systematized based on an old kind of program. Oracle cards are more individual to the author and to whatever particular thing that they're working on. Like if it's the Orisha cards, if there are Orisha oracle cards, then they're tuned to the Orisha and they're tuned to the author and the artist of that deck. Tarot cards are coming from a tradition of tarot, and they have different meanings for the numbers, or they have specific meanings for the numbers. They have specific meaning for the placement of the people. They have specific meanings for the images in the background. They have specific meanings for what shows up. The sun in this card represents blah, blah, blah. These are specific to tarot. So that's the difference between tarot cards and oracle cards. Both are equally effective according to what you need. If you feel drawn to a tarot deck, then get that tarot deck. If you feel drawn to an oracle deck, then get that oracle deck. Just this is a dialogue between you and your intuition, so you don't have to worry about being right or wrong. Go by what you feel. Okay? All right. Boom. That's all I have to say. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off, y'all. This is a big day, lots of stuff happening. I'm going to make stuff happen all in my house because I'm quarantining. All right. So signing off, everybody. Sending you lots of love. Okay. Bye for now. Bye for now, y'all. Okay, how do I end this video? Oh, over here. Okay. Bye for now.